Hello and welcome, my name is Miss Necropon. Thank you for coming back for another SINoALICE video. Today we're going to take a look at spec banners that have been announced for March. We're going to be covering for Vanguard weapons today only because I feel like I need more information about the rearguard weapons before talking about them, so I'll take a look at them and talk about them after they've released. Now, I'm not sure if you feel the same way as I do, but I don't think I'm ready for this banner at all. I'm completely broke of Twilight Crystals and there's just so much to think about in the game right now. There's so much happening, and I'll start off this video by talking objectively about the weapons themselves, if they're good or not, and then after I'll get into some considerations you might want to think about and see if you actually want to pull at this time. Let's start with the overview. These banners are available from March 9th to the 21st. Instead of having one set of banners come out first and then another after, we're gonna have all the banners at the same time. All of the new weapons have a cost of 19 and they all have Dauntless Courage too. One extra featured weapon has been added this time for Vanguards, so Breaker, Gunner, Crusher, and Paladins will each have something new to aim for. And in case if this is something that matters to you, all the Vanguard weapons mentioned today has an LL version in the JP version of the game. Also, a quick reminder that spec banner items cannot be redeemed with Medal of Desires. Now let's get into the Grimoire banners. First, we're gonna take a look at the Magical Vanguard banner. In the Magical Vanguard banner, we have 2 new weapons and 1 repeat. The first one we're gonna look at is Skilled Master's Gun. This is a new gun. This is a 19 cost fire element gun with total points of 7088. It will have the highest total points out of any gun on release. Really is just 1 point above last month's Flame Beast's gun. The magical attack is 2551, which will also be the #1 total magic attack out of any gun. I also want to mention the P-def here, that is 1205, it will be second out of all the guns. The skill here is Evil Ember of Onslaught 3 that deals great magical damage to one enemy and decreases their magical attack by a small amount. Needless to say, this is a really good gun and most likely an upgrade for anyone that are running them. Next is the Wizard's Sickle. This is a new polearm. It's a 19 cost water element polearm and it has a total points of 7079, which will be the #1 in total points for polearm on release. It also tops the chart with P-def at 1206. The M attack for this weapon is 2401, which is only rank 4 of all the polearms. The skill here is Evil Hail of Defense 3 that deals great magical damage to 1 to 2 enemies and decrease their magical defense by a small amount. And of course, this polearm is really great and definitely an upgrade compared to many other polearms. Especially if you're going for a full water grid, this could be a good addition to that. The final one on this banner is the Indiscriminate Gun. This is a repeat gun. It is an 18 cost wind element gun that has a total points of 6458. It has the highest magical defense and 3rd highest magical attack of all the guns so far. The skill is Evil Gust of Assault 3 that deals great magical damage to one enemy and increase your own magical attack by a small amount. Again, another fantastic gun, especially because this one is only 18 cost and it's topping the charts. Even though the total points on this gun is not very high, it's very high in M attack and M def, and I think that's great. For gunners, this is obviously a really good banner to pull on, and paladins, it's a little bit risky even though it's a good polearm. You have 1 out of 3 chances to get it if you get an SR, so I'll leave that to your luck. Now let's take a look at the physical Vanguard banner. This one also has 2 new weapons. One of them is obviously a hammer and the other one a sword. The repeat weapon here is a hammer. Starting with the Club of Rotten Rope, this is a 19 cost wind element hammer and has a total points of 7073. It has the highest total points of any hammer released so far, even though none of the stats individually top the charts. In ranks compared to other hammers, it is the 9th highest P attack, 5th highest physical defense, and 2nd highest magical defense. The skill here is Wind God's Force 3 that deals great physical damage to 1 to 2 enemies and decrease their physical attack and magical attack by a small amount. While I do think this hammer is pretty good, it's actually not as good when you compare it to the weapons in the Magical Vanguard spec banner, unfortunately. I really do wish the M attack was more redistributed so that you have more P attack. But I do have to say the 2 stat debuffs on Wind God's Force is really nice. Next we have another new weapon. This one is called the Water Dragon Blade. It is a 19 cost to water element sword and it has a total points of 70-85. It will have the highest total points compared to any of the swords we have released so far, the 3rd highest P attack sword, just 1 point above Shizu's sword, 6th on physical defense, and 3rd on magical defense. The skill here is Wave of Destruction 4 that deals massive physical damage to one enemy. Wow, this is a really good sword. It has solid number of points, it's got P attack where it matters, and it has Wave of Destruction 4, which is just massive damage. Great for anyone that's still running Breaker or if anyone's trying to get into single target. Very nice sword. The last weapon on this banner is the hammer called the Emperor's Hegemony. It is an 18 cost water hammer with a total points of 64-66. It has the 6th highest total of P attack out of any hammer and the 3rd highest physical defense. The skill here is Hailstorm of Defense 3 that deals great physical damage to 1-2 enemies and decrease their physical defense by a small amount. Unfortunately, the Colo support skill here is P-Def Defense 2 that has a fixed chance to moderately reduce enemies' physical defense while attacking. It would have been really nice if the Colo skill was actually Dauntless Courage 2 like all the other Vanguard weapons available in the Spec banner this time. I think this is a fine hammer for now, but I do think it'll get replaced pretty soon as we see more Dauntless Courage weapons come out. So for this banner, obviously Breakers, this is a really good sword, so you might want to pull on this. The problem only here is that it's 1 out of 3 SR, so your chances is pretty low, but maybe luck will be on your side. And Crushers, I am really a fan of the new hammer, the Club of Rotten Rope, but I'm really not a fan of the Emperor's Hegemony, the reprint hammer. So if you really want to go for this, it's more like you're going for 1 out of 3 also, just like Breakers. Unless you already have a copy of the Emperor's Hegemony where you can kind of limit break it to make it stronger. Now let's talk about if you should really pull on this banner. Obviously, there's a lot of great weapons in these 2 banners, but there's not really a one-size-fits-all answer of if you should pull on this banner or not, because everyone's kind of in different places in their game right now. So let's talk about a few things to consider. I'm gonna ask a few questions to help you think and decide if you want to pull on this or not. If you answer yes to 1 or more of these questions, consider saving up your crystals for a better opportunity. Obviously, if you've been saving up, you're flush with crystals, or you're spending money, you don't have to worry about this section. First question, are you interested in the upcoming collab in April? While we don't have any information yet, we do know something is coming for April. We're expecting a collab that has already happened in JP. It's very likely that they will end up buffing the weapons and classes for the global version based on how they've been handling the releases so far. My prediction is that it's going to be a Yoko Taro IP, so if you're into that, make sure you save up some crystals. Next question is, can your grid realistically use a new 19 cost weapon? Many of us are struggling right now to even fit all of the L weapons we want into our grids. Personally, I have to use 2 S weapons just because I don't have enough cost to hold all the L weapons I want. And besides, we are still in the early phases of cost 19 weapons, so it's really possible that much better cost 19 weapons will come out in the near future, along with more classes that will give us cost plus. Next question is the spec weapon weak compared to other weapons on your grid if it lacks limit breaks? We're at a point in the game where we might have a few limit broken items. Those with more money or luck might already have many or only limit broken items in their grid. Being that this is a spec banner, it's going to be pretty hard to get the actual weapons you want multiple times, so it has a much lower chance of being able to be limit broken. So make sure to set expectations for yourself and ask if the weapon still has a place in your grid if it doesn't have limit breaks. My last question here is, do you need to prepare specific weapons for the upcoming grid swap feature? Grid swap is coming up very soon, and if you're in a guild, make sure you know what your guild needs from you during this transition phase. The grid swap feature is going to be a complete game changer, so it might be a good time to hang back on rolls until you guys know what you need and to start saving up for it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope all of this was helpful information for you and your decision making. Let me know what you think of the new weapons and if you're rolling this time on spec banners. Maybe there's something else you're saving up for instead? Post your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget, the Royal Creator Support campaign is still happening. You have a chance to win 100 Twilight Crystals. Check out the details in the link in the description box or in the pinned comments below. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you've enjoyed your time here with me today, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!